Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is Thursday. That means tomorrow we got training and it's loading up the most registrations ever for the transition training, personal and professional transition, which comes along with change. Jake, Samir, Andrew, thank you for being on there. Team David Meltzer. Let's pin up what time training is and how to get there. There we go. That's good. To get to training, to join us, all you have to do is email me, david@dmeltzer.com, or join our text community so you get the notification of when training is, 949-298-2905. If you have missed any trainings and want the exercises, guides, or books for free, just email me, david@dmeltzer.com as well. Welcome, Colleen, Justin, Courtney. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Samuel, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Thank you. What car sells the most at 3K? 2006 BMW 325 used. That was months back, but that was the car as well. So you'll get there. Joseph, welcome. Let's get some questions going here. Nick, in the house, can you please describe the steps of your unwind routine? So my tomorrow starts today, and so does yours. My tomorrow starts today, and so does yours. And it starts because I work towards 9 o'clock to make sure that by 9 o'clock, I'm winding down and preparing for the most important part of my day, that clean connection to the most powerful source of light, love, and lessons, my sleep, unconscious and subconscious connectivity that allows me to download and to restore and recollect and remember, restore, recollect, and remember all that I have access to, everything and everyone, all knowing, all being, because I live between infinity and limitlessness just for an instant. Infinity and limitlessness, just for an instant, and the best way to access infinity and limitlessness is my sleep. So I live, my tomorrow starts today, and I live towards that wind down at 9 p.m. for me. That might be a little bit early for the rest of you. Hopefully that helped give you some clarity on what we do and how we do it. Jakey Bakey, have you read Shoe Dog by Phil Knight? I have a signed copy of Shoe Dog by Phil Knight, and yes, I have read it. Great entrepreneurial story of selling from the back of your car to building the biggest apparel sports company in the world. Phil Knight is one smart man and philanthropic person as well. Things come through him for others. Can't give what you don't receive. Phil Knight has proved that. What have you learned from Mr. Miyagi? I have learned how to be a mentor and a coach. That waxing on and waxing off are an aggregate of compound interest that allows someone to make significant change and transition in that aggregate level. The lesson that I learned from Mr. Miyagi is the pieces make the whole, and that we have to make sure that we're doing our best consistently and persistently, doing our best with the waxing on and waxing off in order to win the fight. Great questions, by the way. Andrew, judge a man by his questions, not by his answers. Napoleon Hill, can you explain the importance of the questions? Yeah, of course. Well, I live by ask. Right? Once you take inventory of your values, then you know your personal experiential giving and receiving direction. Once you know your personal experiential giving and receiving directions, you need to ask for it. Fastest way to get to somewhere is to ask somewhere how to get it. And so the questions that you ask determine the distance that you travel, the expansion that you experience, the growth that you experience. So you need to focus in on the ask. Ask how you can be of service or value, and ask for what you want, determined upon your own values, voting for what you want, not for what other people want, and especially for what you don't want. Too many people today, they vote for what they don't want, and then they end up getting it, and they're, surprised I got what I don't want. No, you voted for it, and you elected it into your own life. Let's jump into the next question. Do you have any guideposts you use to check if you're being honest with yourself? Well, credibility to me is extremely important, and I am on a journey to not perfection, but progress, to be as close to my potential as possible. In order to do so, I have to live with integrity and honesty, which I don't do all the time. right? I have good intentions 99.9% of the time. Within the context of those good intentions, sometimes I oversell, back end sell, sometimes even lie, manipulate, or cheat, but very rarely now. When I was young, it used to be more. And so I'm on that journey to learn. Just like everyone else. I always laugh when someone says, "Oh, my dad used to like, I'm 100% honest." I'm like, "No, you're not." So that's another lie. You just add that one onto it. Someone told me that the other day when I was coaching them. I'm like, no, you just lied to me. What is the key to quick decision making? Knowing your values, right? If you're solid on your personal experiential giving and receiving values, not afraid to be a hypocrite, you'll know how to make a quick decision because it's either aligned with your values or it's not. And you're either going to give it a monetary valuation or a faithful valuation or a blend there within. And once you determine the blend there within, you'll be able to make a decision, no questions asked. Once you absorb and collect, recollect, remember, acknowledge the information you have, then you make the decisions based off of that stable data the best that you can, knowing that if it results in pain, that just means you have a lesson to learn. That doesn't mean you made the wrong decision. It just means you have a lesson to learn. Pain is an indicator, a turn signal in order to go in the right direction, not a stop sign. You don't beat yourself up and just forgive yourself for trying and then move on and learn a lesson. And you'll make the most finding the light, the love, and the lessons in what you do. Advice for an 18-year-old, ask for help. Learn this question. If you're 18 years old, do you know anyone that can help me? Ask that. Don't be afraid, especially older people, people who sit in the positions of highest power want to help you. So ask. Ask, 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 ask. Radical humility should be written on your nightstand, on your screensavers. What is the first step to start a business? Write a business plan, figure or reverse. Some businesses don't need a business plan, so I apologize. If you can figure out how to get something pre-sold, that's the best way to start a business. Pre-sell something. It's guaranteed profit, right? I pre-sell something for $1 million, can buy it for 800,000. I just made 200 grand. Okay, dokie. That's an easy one. Business is being liquidated. I do not know what that means, but if you need help, email me, david@dmeltzer.com. If you want to join training on Friday, it's transition, personal professional transition, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, just david@dmeltzer.com. You always can join my text community, 949-298-2905. Remember, everyone, you just got to reach out and ask for help. Let's grab my friend here. Russell Silver Fagan is friends with Dr. Eric George. How are you?
Hey, how's it going, David?
I'm great, man. Well, congratulations on implementing. I always say, most people say congratulations on such a great idea, but there's a million great ideas out there. It's,
Totally.
best idea I've ever heard, by the way, was on my TV show, Elevator Pitch. The guy, he had an idea. Unfortunately, it wasn't implemented like you have, but the idea was to extract oxygen from fire using frequency, right? Because
Yeah,
right, and I love that idea, but he unfortunately was delusional and thought that his idea was actually a business. And I tried to continually explain to him, just because you have a great idea, which I love that idea, you extract oxygen from fire, it'll go away immediately. Uh,
absolutely.
but it's just an idea. You actually have more than an idea. You've implemented it. You've used extraordinary partners like Dr. Eric George, one of my dear friends, heroes, mentors, an extraordinary entrepreneur and doctor, by the way. Clean wraps could change the world. I was hoping that you could explain, number one, how you came up with the idea, and two, how you implemented it.
Absolutely. So I came up with the idea with the help of my mother. I don't think anyone does anything alone. And it was her and I working out together in our home gym, which is really just an elliptical. And we would get on after each other. And, when you go to use the hand movements, they're sweaty and they're warm because you just know someone else was on it. And, we share a lot of things. We're related, but we didn't want to share our sweat. And so we came up with the idea of taking a beer koozie and just turning it on its head and sort of, developing that further to provide a barrier between yourself and the shared surface. Fast forward, that was back in 2014 to 2018, we were able to get production in line, actual product in our hands, get it patented and trademarked. And, that came to be the products that I use every day when I go to the gym. And I've been working out with them since 2018. And now it's just been, this sort of newfound interest with the product itself, which is really just a piece of neoprene that goes around any sort of shared surface. So this is a dumbbell. It's 12 pounds. Don't judge me. It's hard at home.
You
And
sound like
so,
my 10-year-old. He's always judging everyone how strong they are by what weights they're holding.
well, that is definitely a falsehood. You can get very ripped with low weight, just lots of reps. And so this
I
is the
agree.
12 pounds, and you just wrap it around with the Velcro, and it secures. It won't come off. And then what you have is a complete barrier with grips that allow for traction, because when you're holding heavy weights, you can't drop this sort of stuff. Um, and really, we've been able to provide people with more peace of mind. We've been locked inside for the past 6, 7 months. At least in New York, gyms didn't open until the past 2 weeks. And so in terms of the initial business idea use in the gym, we're starting to see massive adoption now. But there's lots of other places where people can use an additional barrier with a shared surface. I think most interestingly is the application within a senior living setting. So if you think about senior housing communities, they're places with some private areas, but mostly shared spaces, and with a lot of handrails. And people who are in those sorts of communities depend on those shared surfaces for increased mobility, for health, for all those sorts of things. And so we've seen really great adoption within Florida when we, took part in a convention with senior living communities with an organization called Leading Age. And it's just been great to help people from your grandma, your grandpa, to people in my community, friends who are going to the gym. It's just been awesome to see this adoption from back in 2014 when my mom's like, let's put a beer koozie on this elliptical.
That is awesome, and there are no overnight successes, which are proving as well. One of the interesting things as well is, for me, the pull down machine
Mm-hmm.
is always when I use my normal wraps, which don't protect against the clean side of things. Obviously,
Right.
now not only can I protect the calluses in my hands when they're high friction areas, but also keeping it clean and protected so that others come behind me or in front of me, I am now protected from sharing those germs by touching and carrying them, and then touching more machines and touching more machines. So,
Uh-huh.
that's what makes the gym so viral. Have you been able to change your distribution plan, now that this is such a critical business issue? Obviously, in 2014, it wasn't a critical business issue.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's a life and death issue. It's a critical business issue for the biggest gyms in the world, all the biggest franchises in the world in a variety of different ways. What has changed in your distribution model?
Absolutely. So I think our distribution model changed from just being direct to consumer to focusing on more business to business sales. So Eric's been a great mentor to me throughout this business experience. And something that he taught me is that growth takes time and that you want to move slowly. So it could be really easy to invest lots of marketing dollars in our direct to consumer avenue, and then we could get it in the hands of everyday people who are just trying to work out with more protection. But in order to impact more people in a more immediate fashion, the way to do that is to access businesses who already have these connections with hundreds of thousands of consumers that are looking for items like this. And so Eric's been really great in keeping our eye on the game, which is, or sorry, our eye on the ball. I'm not that great at sports, David. I apologize.
That's
um,
good.
and the idea behind that is we can affect and help more people that way. Clean Wraps is a novel invention. It's a novel company. And so the biggest struggle, as I'm sure you know, with any growing business is consumer education and awareness. And so a way that we can sort of jump those hurdles is by utilizing other businesses and their already built-in brand loyalty and customer base.
Last question I have is, as we distribute products, we come up with the idea, implement as you have, and now distribute and enhance the distribution, utilizing mentorship, by the way. So you're a textbook successful entrepreneur. The last step is understanding alternative sources of income and real estate. For me, everything is real estate. I talk about capture, modify, amplify, and perpetuate your product, service, or solution because everything is content. Looking at your solution, obviously there's some killer marketing real estate that can be a B2B, B2C solution. And now that you can be a protective, clean source of value, but also real estate to market things as well, as giving them away at the gyms if you are a realtor in your local area, now people are literally hands-on with your name, your logo, at least 1 hour, 3 or 4 times a week. Have you looked at alternative marketing opportunities from the real estate that you own and the content that you can provide?
Absolutely. So one of the first ideas my mother and I had when we created these wraps is that they're giant billboards. They're really just spaces for our company name and for other company names. And so I mentioned earlier that we have dotting to ensure great traction and grip. All of those dots aren't necessary. Removing some of these dots allow us to screen print the logos and the brand names of partners that we would work with and allow them to use our real estate to their advantage and their own marketing ploy. So that's one way that we've been able to sort of use our valuable real estate. Another way that we've been able to do that is by using the connections in the cities that we're in. I live in New York. I've been here since the pandemic began in March, and we're at the beginning stages with great partnerships of organizations at small levels like the Ally Forney Center, which focuses on helping LGBT youth, and larger centers like communicating with the municipality of New York to see if we can get this adopted on a wider level to help people get on the subway more safely.
Oh, what a great idea. Last thing I'd like to add, if I can help at all, but I think there's a huge opportunity with my partners in the cooler and water bottle community,
Yeah,
because, I was just thinking as I'm working out, I'd love to put it over my Yeti or, other handheld water bottles. It would also probably help to keep it a little cooler, but it's very convenient since I have my water bottle anyway, to protect my cleanliness on the water bottle, take it off, use it on the machine, put it back on the water bottle. Because some hands-free times, I don't want to put that on the floor. And so I think a
absolutely.
water bottle could help with the marketing and their value add by providing that on water bottle companies. And I'd be happy to make some introductions to the companies I work with.
I would love to chat with any of those people. I've been using my own sort of water bottle. I don't use plastic bottles anymore. I think most people don't. And we
Right.
and we would really hope for our product. Sorry, my dog wants to say hello.
That's cool.
We wanted our product to become as much of a useful tool as a reusable water bottle. And in the same vein as that, using your Yeti reduces your consumption and your waste. Using a clean wrap reduces your consumption and waste too, because you're using less sanitary wipes to wipe down every surface you've touched. You're using less gloves, which are, as we know, terrible for the environment. We see them piling up on the streets in New York. And so we're really just hoping this can be a product that helps us and our earth.
That's awesome. What's your dog's name?
My dog's name is Noodle.
Noodle. What's up, doggy? All right.
Noodle.
Well, thank you so much. I got Russell and Noodle here with the incredible clean wraps. Please check them out. Where can they go find clean wraps at?
Just cleanwraps.com. KLEENWRAPS.com.
All right, Jake will post that up there as well. Please reach out. Say hi to Dr. Eric George for me. He's one of my favorites. Anything we do to service, let us know. Thank you so much, Russell.
Thank you, David. You have a good one.
You too. Take care.
Bye.
All right. There's classic case study on being an entrepreneur. Going from a creation of an idea to implementation over years of time, by the way, right? 6 years into the implementation, distribution, and then marketing, real estate, etc. It takes time. And Dr. Eric George reiterated something that I teach, which is the enjoyment of the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Sooner or later, there will be a product that creates value without any doubt that you can articulate that value. And looking so that here we go. All right, questions, keep them coming. Thank you, Russell, by the way. What's your method of being consistent and getting work done even when you're feeling down or a little depressed? Well, look, number one, everybody uses that feeling down or a little depressed. First, if you feel down or a little depressed, attack it with motivation. Motivation gets you up, gets you back up, gets you started, gets you restarted. Then you can transition over into inspiration and be consistent. But if you try without motivating yourself, you're going to end up creating more separation, interference, corrosion, and end up less motivated, less inspired. So lower the bar, go back to center, right? If you're feeling depressed or not motivated, then what you need to do is stop, drop, and roll. Your mind, body, and soul are on fire, or at least irritated or agitated or inflamed a little bit. So stop, drop, and roll. Get to center, and then get motivated. Transition that motivation into inspiration, and you will be consistent every day. Remind yourself, Remind yourself how easy it is. Also remind yourself one of my great tricks in life, right? The first 10 minutes sucks. So if I'm not being consistent in what I want to do, I will tell myself, I'm going to do this for 10 minutes. 10 measly minutes. Everybody has 10 minutes. One of the things that frustrates me and puts me into an ego-based consciousness of a need to be offended is when someone tells me, oh, sorry, I didn't have the time. Oh, you didn't have the time to text me, I don't have the time? You didn't have the time to text me, can we do it tomorrow? Uh, come on. Come on, man. Come on, man. Ask Chris Carter. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? Zero point 0.1 seconds. Don't take that for an answer, right? And when people give you that I don't have time answer, they're bleeding you. Remember the food chain, the feeding food chain. If somebody feeds you, feed them. If they don't feed you, you can let them fall away. And if they bleed you, fire them. Get them out of your life. And that's a bleed you statement. Sorry, I didn't have the time. Sorry, I didn't have the time. You didn't have the time? You could text me you don't have the time. Then I'm not hanging on why you didn't do what you promised to do. So let's do that. Be that person. Be a waymaker, a promise keeper, as some of my favorites say. Sorry, keep asking that question. Let's keep it moving on here. Of all the things you know to be true today, what do you wish you knew at 21? Once again, radical humility to me. I wish I knew how many people wanted to help me. I wish I knew what I was connected to and from and through. I wish I knew that all I had to do is spend my time being more interested than interesting to find the people that have my what so I can ask them for the what or how to get the what. I wish I knew ego-based consciousness. I wish I knew how much time I was going to waste on being worried, upset, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, offended, guilty. I wish I knew what that would do to separate me and accelerate me in the wrong trajectory. I wish I knew. And now I do. And I still make the same mistakes, even though I do know it. And now I'm practicing to get better at it and enjoying that practice, enjoying the consistent every day, persistent without quit, pursuit of my own potential. That's what I do. And I know that I don't know what I don't know. And a lot of 21-year-olds, 25-year-olds, 35-year-olds don't know what you don't know. And they're lying to themselves. My friends, my family, myself, lying to ourselves. You don't know what you don't know. Let's enjoy knowing and learning to know. All right, let's see here. Keep on going on. How can I free my time and escape the 9 to 5? Well, separate things, number one, by activity you get paid for and activity you don't get paid for. Be a student of your calendar, right? Study things with intention and attention philosophy of creating the coincidences you want. Separate things with the Meltzer kaleidoscope to be productive of how much value you can provide, to be accessible. How are you accessible to others? And how are you accessing what you want? And live your life every day with the lens of gratitude. Find the light, the love, and the lessons and everything. Along with the first 10 minutes suck, realize that everyone has the same percentage of suck in their life. And those who can find the light, the love, and the lessons in what they do have less suck. And we end up being happy, which is my ultimate goal, to empower over 1 billion people to be happy, hoping that 1,000 of you that come on here every day to watch these lives will empower another 1,000 to empower another 1,000. That's why I've been doing free trainings for 20 years. Friday, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern time. Join me, transitioning training on this Friday, tomorrow. All you got to do, if you haven't joined, is email me, david@dmeltzer.com, or join my text community, 949-298-2905. That's all you got to do. All you have to do, change your life. And if you miss it, all you got to do is go to Spotify or Entrepreneur and watch the replay. It's that easy. No excuses, just your story. I'm here for you. Everyone's here for you. Ask and attract. Let's do it. Very good. All right. Funny peoples with bad advice. Best advice for a new social media marketing agency. Get a guarantee. Best piece of advice in social media marketing is get a guarantee. So do not pay up front and have the person guarantee what they can do. I would crawl before I walk, before I run. I would make sure that they're testing, but guarantee. I guarantee everything I do month to month, guarantee value, quantitative value, get a guarantee. Thank you for enjoying my podcast on Spotify. It's just a blessing to be featured on there, and they're an incredible company. Obviously, they're getting the biggest shows. Rogan, now Meltzer. Are you kidding me? This is awesome. Same company as that guy. Incredible. Let's see here. What fundamentals should I be programming into my kindergartner? Values. The four things that I program into my kids are: one, gratitude, finding the light, the love, and the lesson and everything, saying thank you before they go to bed and thank you when they wake up. Two, forgiveness. Allow them to forgive themselves so they can challenge themselves and live in the learning zone. Have them be accountable, right? Exactly. Have them be accountable so that they ask themselves, what did I do to attract this into my life, and what am I supposed to learn from it? And then finally teach them inspiration. Ah, there he is. What a
What's up,
privilege.
buddy?
How are you?
How you doing?
I am doing so well. It's talk about things coming around.
I know.
As a young man, you were, up there with my heroes. You were the innovator. As an entrepreneur, I'm going, that's what I want to do. I want to create something that changes people's lives in their number one area, which is their health, which everyone ignores. And I want to be the Body by Jake guy. This is it. I can do this, be an entrepreneur, and make money while I'm doing it, and not be afraid to tell people it. And here we are. COVID happens, and it's like a rebirth going, wait a second. I told everyone working out on their own and at home is the way to do it. And here we are. Incredible having you here. Thank you for joining me.
Hey, David, it's great to be here, buddy. It's great to be here, and I'm proud of everything that you've been doing, man. I think we met each other.
Oh, yeah.
A long time ago when you were representing Warren Moon.
With Lee Steinberg, and Warren became my partner. And Warren's a big fan of yours as well. We both meet so many faces. Yours doesn't change. Mine has. So.
You look great, brother. You look great. And it's listen, I'm very proud of everything that you're doing, inspiring people, motivating people. Look, most of all, we need positive voices because, look, we live in the greatest country on the planet, and so many great people are doing great things, and sometimes the noise gets in the way. And it's great to see what you're doing, and I'm glad to be here to hang for a little while, speak to some of your great folks.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's such a privilege to have you. One of the areas that I think slide by with what you've been able to do is I talk about lowering the bar. I never was a great athlete like Warren Moon, but I love fitness. I love to work out. I reached my potential by being an average Division III football player, but that's my potential. But what Body by Jake and all the different things that you've done, it allows people to be consistent. And that consistency, no matter what mechanism that we use, I'll tell people, look, if you walk an hour a day, 7 days a week, you will be healthy.
Listen. First of all, as you know, you talk about the bar being low. My whole career, I mean, listen, I was an overweight kid. I had a bad stutter growing up. Weights, when I was 13 years old, and the weights, literally changed my life because not only did they start building my body, but it built my confidence and self-esteem. And it's amazing to see, think about everybody. When you have confidence and your self-esteem is up, you look in the mirror and the slouch becomes, you stand up a little bit straighter. You have this confidence that, hey, listen, whatever it is you want to achieve, you can achieve anything you want in your life. My dream was to become Mr. America, right? I was born in Brooklyn, New York, raised in Baldwin, Long Island, 13 years old. The weights in me got together and I had this dream. I go to college upstate New York, Cornell University.
Of course.
Well,
hospitality, the greatest hospitality school in America.
I went to Cortland down the street.
I know Cortland too.
Good school, Division III. As you, a football player, I was a Division III lacrosse player. I wasn't all that great, but I got into school. And 3 months in, it snows like from the second you get to school up there. And for me, it was one of those moments where everyone has dreams, right? Everybody has a dream. And sometimes to express your dream, you get nervous to do it to people closest to you. And you talk about this too, David. And I've come to learn, and I talk about this as well, sometimes it's the people closest to you sometimes seem to be the most negative. And the reason why I think they are in some way, like my parents, when I expressed my dream, was they don't want to see you get hurt, right? There were others, like friends. I had a girlfriend and friends, and I said, I'm going to go to California to become Mr. America. And my buddies all said, come on, man, you're a fat guy, Jim. You're not going to become Mr. America. My girlfriend said, you're never going to make it. And sometimes it's people who are so concerned that they see David being successful, they believe there's not enough success to go around. So the idea is, well, that misery loves company feeling. And I'm a big believer in the more successful people, the more positive you are, those boats rise up and everybody shares in that success. So this moment, 3 months into college, I finally get the courage up. My mom, who was checking in, well, every day at college and seeing how poli
You must have a Jewish mom.
And you know it, absolutely. Come on, Meltzer Steinfeld. We sound like a law firm.
We would be a good law firm, that's for sure.
It would be a good law firm. And I finally, she's asking me about poli-sci and English, and I finally get up enough courage, and I say, Mom, I'm going to go to California to become a bodybuilder. Silence. And all of a sudden, I hear, Herbie, my dad's name, pick up the phone and talk to your kid. I'm putting my head in the oven. And it was that moment where I said, I expressed my dream. And the bus ride from upstate New York back to Baldwin, Long Island, what felt like I was going from here to Australia. And just like I said, sitting with my parents, my dad said, get it out of your system. My mom was worried. What am I going to do by myself? I made the trek to LA, David. 1977, summer 1977. And here I am in LA, and I'm excited. I read all the muscle magazines. Everybody said, eat 18 eggs and 24 chickens a day, and you too could become Mr. America. Well, I'm here to say I clucked a lot, but I never became Mr. America because in 1978, I entered the Mr. Southern California contest. And the guy that beat me was on steroids. And I had never, no one ever mentioned steroids, right? Now,
the good thing.
Let me tell you this. Now, you talk a lot about making decisions, right? How to make decisions. I have 4 kids. I have a daughter and 3 sons. My daughter's 28. My boys are 26, 21, and 19. My wife, Tracy, married almost 32 years. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me in my life. But we talk about decision making. And I've always said that if you have to think about something too long, probably shouldn't be something you should be doing. So bring it back to here I was in Venice, California, right? Wanted to become Mr. America. I entered the Mr. Southern California contest, and everyone is taking steroids. The guy that beat me was on steroids. I come in second place. And I had to make this decision at 19 years old. Now, cut back to 4th and 5th grade. Remember, you would go to the nurse and she'd give you the TB test, that little 4-prong thing. That little thing, it's about this big. I used to faint when that happened, right? So let alone putting a needle in my own battissimo, right? I made a decision at 19 years old that I am not going to do this. I am not going to do this, but I'm not going to go back to New York. And in my mind, a loser, because my friends all said you could. And these are these moments. Life is about moments, right? Everybody there are some great moments. There are some challenging moments. This was one of those moments, the decision and the moment that I said, I'm not going back to New York. I love what working out did for me. I love how I felt. So I'm going to stay in LA. I had no idea what was going to happen. I had no idea what I was going to do. But I'm sitting in this apartment complex in Studio City, California, and, well, doing what every good muscle head does, working out in the morning, catching rays during the day, and I was bouncing in a bar at night. True story. And an actress had come over to me around the pool, and I've seen her. We knew each other. She says, hi, Jake. How you doing, Sandy? She says, listen, I see you sitting out here all the time. I've got 6 weeks. I've got a Club Med commercial I've got to do. I got to wear a bikini, and I'm wondering if you can help me out. And I said, okay, sure. She goes, could you come to my boyfriend's house and do the workout there? And I said, okay, fine. She goes, how much is the workout going to be? I go, I don't know. Give me gas money for my 1977 white Camaro, with Jake 77 on the license plate. Very important. Always kept a very low profile, you know? and one thing, too, remember, this was 1979, 1980. Jane Fonda had just come on the scene, high impact aerobics. Women at that time were very intimidated by using weights. They thought they were going to get big muscles. So what I did was I improvised, where, you know, using a broomstick for twists, right? A towel, isometric training, right? If I were to say, David, let me grab onto this towel, I'm going to pull down, you pull up, I can put some nice resistance on that. But psychologically, it's a bath towel, right?
Right.
Also a chair for push-ups and dips, and 2 cans of Mama's tomato paste for shoulder presses, right? Nice. I put together a 30-minute workout. She seemed to have an A-type personality, right? I loved going to the gym, but I never liked hanging around in the gym. I liked to get my workout in and get out. So went to her boyfriend's house in Beverly Hills. She gave me the address, knocked on the door. Guy answers the door. And if you weren't on the cover of Musclehead Digest, I didn't know who you were. Turned out to be Francis Ford Coppola.
Oh, wow.
And I just looked and I thought, wow, okay, this guy might use a workout too, you know? And turned out to be fantastic people. That, you know, they started going to parties and people started saying, you look great, what are you doing? This guy, Jake, comes to the house. He's got this 30-minute workout with a broomstick and a towel and a chair. He's pretty funny, but he eats too much because, well, they had a great refrigerator and I had no money. And the fridge was awesome and they were so sweet. And the one thing about, and here's another note, one thing about Hollywood or any place, if you're good and people want to get a hold of you and they can't, they seem to want you more. And it became this mystique of, who is this guy? You got to get him. And all of a sudden, David, in my little apartment in Studio City, with my little tape recorder, you know, little voicemail machine, right? Steven Spielberg and Harrison Ford and Priscilla Presley and Bette Midler and Warren Beatty and Barbra Streisand, the biggest stars in Hollywood are calling my apartment and wanting to work out. And I only bring their names up specifically for this reason. I learned this amazing lesson. They're no different than you and me. The only difference is they had a dream and they never quit on their dream and never took no for an answer. And I know you like to talk about no. My whole thing is, you know, when someone tells me no, that's halfway to yes. We're just getting started. We're just getting started, right?
I
no
love
one's
it.
halfway to yes. And it was an amazing feeling for me because here I was hanging out with these great people. And it was like, okay, I might never direct E.T. 2, but I'm going to have my own success in life. And that's what got me going, David. Because, listen, think about this. You stop you. Let me tell you why. You come up with this great idea, right? You're all pumped up. You're all excited. You write it down. Look, I don't know about you. I'm a guy who writes things down. I got notes left and right. I yellow pads everywhere, right? Because if you write it down, it's attainable, right? I can achieve this if I can see it. You come up with this great idea. You're pumped up. You write it down. You go to bed. You wake up the next morning. And all of a sudden, you start thinking of the 22 reasons why you can't succeed. And my feeling is this. Life's about taking shots. You know this. With all the great athletes that you guys work with in life, the more shots you take, and you as an entrepreneur know you're going to fail. Failure isn't death. Death is death. When the director yells cut, that's when the show is over. But in life, in business, taking shots at, go out when you're a kid. Ask that girl out on a date. What's the worst that happens? You get told no. You have an idea for a business. It doesn't work out. You're learning, you're meeting people, you're growing yourself. The last thing you ever want to have happen is you're looking in the mirror at 40 or 50 or 60 or 70 or 80 years old and saying to yourself, at 25, I had this idea. At 30, I could have taken this shot, and I didn't. Life is about getting out there and banging it around, David. And I'm here to say, you can achieve anything you want in your life as long as you put your mind to it. Success is failure turned inside out. Success is failure turned inside out, right?
And you're living proof of that. Last thing, real quick, I'm just processing all the great gems and nuggets that you laid on everybody. But you talked about in entrepreneurship what other people think. I always say, don't vote for what other people think, because you're going to end up with what they think, which is ordinary, not extraordinary. And then beyond that, though, there's something interesting about our parents, and maybe because we're Jewish as well, it's a little bit worse. But the Catholics, they invented it. We perfected guilt. But for me, it's interesting because I started to take the way that my parents and aunts and uncles and everyone cared so much about my safety and security, especially my economic security. Doctor, lawyer, failure was pressed upon me and my siblings. But I started thinking, what if God or the universe, Buddha, Jesus, Joseph Smith, whatever you believe in, if that is like our parents, except for one thing, they actually have the capability of keeping us safe no matter what. In other words, providing us all the things that our parents, if we could give your mother a guarantee and connect the dots backwards and say, Jake's going to move to California and he's not going to be Mr. America, and connect all the dots backwards, but he's going to meet all of these famous people. I think the universe, if you have the right mindset and heart set like you do, there's no accidents. The coincidences of, Steven Spielberg and Francis Ford Coppola and all the important people, and then you not being available, ending up being like the movie The Producer with Kevin Bacon, when he wants to kill himself and he becomes the most popular person in Hollywood because nobody can find him. And that's what I'm thinking of Jake, who the hell is this Jake? Anybody else? Meanwhile, he can't afford his phone bill, so nobody can call him.
But it's those things. It's that that upward spiral is really what I believe in.
Upward spiral. Explain that to finish up. What is the upward spiral?
The upward spiral too. This upward spiral of success. And listen, if we're getting towards the end, what we really want to talk about too, the fitness, the motivation, the inspiration, but nutrition too. And I'm constantly creating, and that's the most important thing. I've been putting fitness centers in elementary and middle schools around this great country of ours for the last 15 years as chair of the National Foundation for Governors Fitness Councils. This is our 36 states that we've done, putting in these brand new $100,000 Don't Quit fitness centers and nutrition. So I've been involved in fitness and health for 42 years now, and protein drinks have been one of my staples, and they've all been crummy. And in this world today, I'm 62 years old. So the world, especially in adult nutrition, I've been looking in that category, and the products there are all chemical based, and they're crummy, David. So we came up with the first clean label, daily complete nutrition shake called Don't Quit. No soy, no corn, no wheat, no artificial flavors, no artificial sweeteners, no sucralose, gluten-free, kosher, and they taste delicious. Chocolate, vanilla, chai tea, and orange Cola are our original flavors, and we have a max version with 30 grams of protein and 1 gram of sugar. This is now, how about opening the fridge in the morning and seeing those words? Truly.
I love it.
Don't quit when you open that fridge in the morning. This is our original 10 grams of protein, 26 vitamins and minerals, right? It's got 14 grams of sugar in it, right? But it's pure cane sugar. And that's what we really want to do. It's the first clean label. Convenient. That's the name of the game. People are stressed out right now, and more so than ever. This is really, when you think about this, here's our chocolate, here's our vanilla, brother. Look at that.
That's amazing. You've been leading the fitness, trend and empowerment phase for 40 years, like you said, over 40 years. It's come to our attention that nutrition is actually more important than actually the fitness side.
And that's it. And it's what you're putting in your body. And now more than ever, I'm reading these stories about people not being able to afford good food. And that's super important, David. Listen, the fitness centers that we put in schools, these Don't Quit $100,000 fitness centers, right? We put them in communities where people are getting their fresh fruits and vegetables from a convenience store. We need to help. Don't Quit is a product too for everybody, but you're getting these 26 vitamins and minerals, right? It's meant as a meal supplement, but people are using it as a meal replacement. Great recipes. You just go to don'tquit.com. Super simple, convenient. It's great for you. And the name of the game is people are so stressed out right now, right? I'm all about hope, like you are, health and family. And those three things, when we put all that together, that's what Don't Quit's about. That's what my life has been about. And that's why it's fun sitting here with guys like yourself who believe the same way, man. And we're all in this together. You know, we've heard this a lot over these past 6 or 7 months. But in this time of craziness, great things happen. Great things really do happen. And we're talking right now, and this ability to do this, to communicate with so many great people who are watching and listening is important, to empower someone who's listening right now, who might be struggling, who might feel they have that black cloud over their head, but they've been listening and watching for the last 15, 20 minutes. They're going to stand up. They're going to maybe take 2 cans of Mama's tomato paste and do something like that. Maybe go to don'tquit.com, right, and check out Don't Quit. Believe those words that I can do it. Hey, if that guy Jake can do it, that guy David can do it, why not me? We live in the greatest country on the planet with the ability to achieve anything we want in our lives. Today is the moment. Today is the moment, right? Success is failure turned inside out. There was a poem. I'll leave you with this, brother. I was cut from my 8th grade basketball team. True story. I was given a poem called Don't Quit.
My favorite poem in the world.
Well, come on. Serious?
Everybody's framed in my studio. Don't Quit is framed. All my guys on here will.
Here it is. Wait. This poem, you can't even see it now. You can't see. This was 8th grade.
It makes me cry. I can't read it without crying.
Listen,
I cannot read that poem without crying.
I'm going to tell you this. You have to understand. I trademarked the words, in 1981. I trademarked the words Don't Quit. That poem became a Bible verse to me. And the last 2 lines, we can do it together, are stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit.
Yeah.
And that's it. And that's something that you read it every morning, every afternoon. There are some days I've read it 10 times.
Yeah.
And it's amazing how that, when things go wrong, as they sometimes will, when the road you're trudging seems all uphill, right? When the funds are low and the debts are high and you want to smile, but you have to sigh. When care is pressing you down a bit, rest if you must, but don't you quit. Life is queer with its twists and turns, as every one of us sometime learn. And many a failure turn about when he might have won had he stuck it out. Don't give up though the pace seems slow. You may succeed with another blow. Success is failure turned inside out, the silver tint of the clouds of doubt. And you never can tell how close you are. It may be near when it seems so far. So stick to the fight when your heart is hit. It's when things seem worst that you must not quit. David, I'm proud of you, buddy.
God, man. Thank you. Go to don'tquit.com.
There it is. There it is, baby.
All right, man. Well, I'm going online. I'm getting some. I'm going to put poems on all of them. You almost made me cry saying it. Jake, I love you. Let's do this again. Thank you so much. Go to don'tquit.com. The great Jake Steinfeld. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you, brother. All right.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Right.
I will never quit. That's not in my. Enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Jake has, and there's the results that you get. Colleen put up there. That is my favorite poem. It's framed in the studio. I can't read it without crying. If you even think about quitting, read that poem. I promise you, your life will change. So many people, wow, I'm just blown away. Everyone, that's where you enjoy the consistent, persistent pursuit of your potential. Body by Jake's been around forever, and now Don't Quit, don'tquit.com. Check it out. Eat clean, drink clean. This stuff will change your life and your mindset, your heart set. What you think, say, do, believe, and what you hear will also change it, but don't you quit. You must not quit. That's a great way to stop. We are going to do a training on tomorrow, 11 a.m. Pacific. Over 20 years I've been doing these. 11 a.m. Pacific. I'll be calling during my live. This is incredible. If you're on my team, please let Blaine know. Colleen, please. Samir, please. David at dmeltzer.com. Join my text community, 949-298-2905, 949-298-2905. That's the text community. Training is Friday. If you miss training, if you haven't got the exercises, the guides, or my books, they're free. Just email me, david@dmeltzer.com. Check it out on Spotify. It's always featured there and on Entrepreneur. Thank you, everyone. Most importantly, thank you, Jake. You're incredible. Russell, thank you as well. Say hi to Dr. Eric George. Thank you. Thank you, Team David Meltzer. Everyone on here, I appreciate you. Most importantly, be kind to your future self. Do good deeds. Have a great day.